microphone. In my hands, it's a pipe bomb.
Vince, I'll kick you in the nuts and you'll smile at me and like it and show me some respect.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling.
I have the balls to say things that nobody else has the balls to say. Do I have everybody's attention now?
All right, what's up, YouTube? This is Greg, a.k.a. Merc, back in the scene here with the YouTube channel. I know we missed the show last week. Our apologies on that. We are back. We're going to have a little bit of like a super podcast on this one. We're going to make it a little bit longer. We're going to go over what happened with last week's Raw, this week's Raw. We're going to touch base. Money in the Bank. We're going to touch base on the Zimmerman cases, what's to come for SummerSlam, and then whatever the hell else we want to come up with. So, Brian, let's go ahead and kick it off with last week's Raw, man.
Well, I felt last week's Raw was real strong. Coming off of a pay-per-view, you'd hate for a Raw to be, disappointing. The results, Money in the Bank, by now, everybody knows, and we don't need to rehash it. I'll just state my personal opinion. SmackDown Money in the Bank match kind of stole the show.
Agreed.
I liked all the results, though. They're interesting, lead for interesting storylines. Leading into a big Raw, you had the betrayal of CM Punk and Paul Heyman. That whole angle, the bringing in of Lesnar, was just absolutely epic after two really strong promos by both Heyman and Punk. Then, obviously, you had the whole Wyatt family. Just continues to get more and more interesting with that.
Money in the Bank and the following Raw after that was so solid, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, that I actually bought a plane ticket to go to Los Angeles and bought the ticket all within that same week to go to SummerSlam. I mean, it's just, I always wanted to go to L.A., so I had the reasoning for it, but that's how solid it was to me. Like, last week's Raw had the feeling of what wrestling could be. I'm not going to say what it was because the Attitude Era is dead and gone. We're not going to really see many things else like that again. It's dead and gone. It's more about now what can they do with the product that they have, and they did a great job putting together everything that happened on last week's Raw, from the promos with Heyman and Punk and then Lesnar coming out, to the whole John Cena picking Daniel Bryan, to the matches that they gave us. Everything about that Raw was pretty solid. And
we'll touch on your decision to buy tickets following what happened just a little bit ago on Raw. Because
I'm still sold. I'm still sold. I don't
okay, well, I'm going to still give you a hard time in a little bit here. But all around, it just goes to show that a crowd can also make a show. And the crowd last week in Brooklyn was absolutely insane.
It was like we were back in Mania, dude. When I was in what was the name of the center in New Jersey? I always forget the name of that damn arena. Izod Center, thank you. It's San Antonio's Freeman Coliseum, pretty much, for New Jersey. If people who live in San Antonio, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was so crazy. Like, the environment alone made that show. That show was not that great, but damn if that crowd didn't put it over. And it's stuff like that that makes wrestling fun. A lot of people are like, the fuck do you guys watch wrestling for? It's because of shit like that. Like, it makes it fun. It makes it a good time, and that's what we want.
And it makes it where, as fans watching at home, there are certain cities you're excited when the show is coming from there. Anytime it's over in England, those crowds have always been fantastic. Chicago has always been right up top as like a great wrestling crowd city. But now you got to put anywhere in the tri-state area as far as New York and New Jersey, because Brooklyn's done it. The Meadowlands has now done it. MSG is always electric.
Well, it's the arenas that sell it too. Usually the bigger the arena, the better it sells. But it's crowds like that make Raw. Now let's look at a few hours, or well, not a few hours, about 18 minutes ago in my time.
Yeah.
What happened with Raw? Not as solid of a show. I wasn't expecting much. You can't put everything in just every damn show. You just can't do it because that's how
even by those standards, it was a little bit of a letdown.
It was a little bit of a letdown, and the only reason why I felt it was a little bit of a letdown is because the attributes that was missing. The Wyatt family not being there obviously it's almost like it slows down their momentum, but it also makes the fans, want more than when they do come back, as far as that goes. So it's kind of like it's a smart business plan that they were doing, but it all depends. They could be saving it to build up on SmackDown. Keep in mind, they're finna go on this tour, man, and this tour is going to be pre-recorded episodes nonstop. So maybe they're trying to make it to where they save everything for SmackDown, make it more legitimate there.
It just felt all around like a filler show.
It was a filler.
You had interference in matches. You had The Miz spending all that time interviewing divas about a show that the vast majority of us won't even watch.
There's always going to be some bad days, though. You can't really...
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, no, granted. You're definitely right there.
It's just Brian's the type where he's a perfectionist when it comes to certain events. If this was a filler leading up to another pay-per-view, we would be content with it. This is one of their biggest pay-per-views, I guess you can name it. Aside from WrestleMania, you got SummerSlam. They got it.
I would put SummerSlam number 3 on the list with only the Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble. Right. Well, Survivor Series isn't shit anymore, really. So, yeah. I mean, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Mania, those are like the key factors. And so when looking at stuff like that, that's why it kind of makes this show, this one that recently happened, it was like, okay, but Daniel Bryan and Punk alone saved it. Mark Henry, that was kind of repetitive, but they're trying to build up for something bigger. I get what they're doing, so I'm not too upset with it. Let's just see what happens next week.
As long as they follow the, one great show, one filler to build for a next great show. If we have 2 disappointing weeks in a row with SummerSlam on the horizon, it's not looking great.
And dude, next week looks solid as it is already. So I mean, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get some good TV time next week. It's just about a matter of waiting for it. So I'm not worried about
my last little comment. I said I was gonna give you a hard time. Is while we were watching it here on Skype, we were joking about Ryback starting to get tables ready because we remember the last time Ryback had tables and somebody was on the top of the food chain, and that was when he put Punk through a table and kind of ruined a pay-per-view main event. So, obviously, I was giving Greg here a little bit of a hard time as far as you might not want to book your tickets so soon in advance.
Dumb ass shit. That's all I have to say to that. He's going to be okay.
We'll see.
So let me get this right. Hold on. You guys are both fans of wrestling, correct? Right?
Right.
Of course, okay. So, what I've been thinking, and what I hear a lot, obviously I like wrestling when I can, and I watch it when I can, Usually I always get caught up, and then I, catch the last 30 minutes, but I'm always so lost because I don't know what that'll happen, or, So, how do you feel about the stereotype that comes behind watching wrestling? Like, it's a kid's show.
I work at a GameStop, and all the time people come in, and sometimes the parents buy their kids the WWE game. I'm like, I'm a wrestling fan, and they look at me, and they're like, really? and no, it happens more than you'd expect. Dude. And my response is always, how is it any different than any other drama, except that it provides the action that guys enjoy?
It's better than most reality TV shows if you look out there. Look what's out there.
But it's not reality TV.
Well, you know what I mean, though. Talking about shows in general, look what's out there. You got Honey Boo Boo and stupid shit
God,
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's stronger than anything like that because it's actually
By the way, I'm glad you brought up Honey Boo Boo. I'm so sorry. I have to say this. This weekend, it's almost like I sat in front of Honey Boo Boo Child's mother. Like, it was like, I looked behind me, and I was kind of like, the fuck? Like, that the chick from Honey Boo Boo Child, the mom? And I looked back again, I was like, no, that's impossible. And I kept thinking to myself, and I asked my friend Ray, I'm like, dude.
Watching, Greg? I know that's your thing.
Well, here in Texas, we can't. Hey, whoa. Me, watching, that's my friend Bryce. He works at SeaWorld, but I hope he doesn't listen to this. Anyways, look, point is being a wrestling fan, there's so many times where sometimes I'm ashamed to speak. I'm not going to lie. Because every time I say it, when I talk to a girl or something, I'm like, yo, it's, I'm telling you, I'm like, yo, what's up? My name is Greg. You know, how you doing? They're like, yeah, that's cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm into cars. I'm into sports. I'm into wrestling. And then that's where it stops. And then after that, they're
It's
like,
better to get it out of the way than, you're out 6 months, and then she's like, honey, you want to go out tonight? No, bitch, it's fucking Raw.
fucking Raw. Mondays, you can't fuck with me. Just leave me alone. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, all the responses from like every girl are pretty much like the same.
Most girls won't appreciate that though. Like, it's what's the difference between you going to a basketball game in another state to watch your favorite team, while going to another state to watch a pay-per-view event? Like, I don't.
They're not. Wrestling is hard to view, and I mean
it's its own thing. Like, you can't narrow it into a sports field. There's a reason they call it sports entertainment. Because it's like a combination of the entertainment business and your favorite sporting event.
Right. Exactly.
And that's why WrestleMania has become, in some ways, bigger than the Super Bowl. Sure, it doesn't have that many views, and it's a pay-per-view event,
huge.
But it draws internationally.
The marks are going to hate that. The marks are going to hate that comment, Brian. I'm going to see people messaging people as far as that goes, saying, "Did they really just say that?"
Yeah.
Yes, motherfucker, we did. Yes, we believe WrestleMania is bigger than Super Bowl.
Here's how I look at it. The Super Bowl is completely an American thing.
Right.
You don't see me comparing the Super Bowl to the World Cup, because then you'd have the rest of the world going, whoa, what the fuck is he
that's a
saying?
good point you bring, because I don't watch football at all. I don't watch football. The only time I will watch football, though, is the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So.
Because it's become part of our culture where, people are, what are you doing for the Super Bowl?
Right. It's either having a picnic or some kind of, dinner or some kind of party or whatever. I see what you mean about that, but I guess.
Yeah, I'm definitely. And with the World Cup coming up next summer, you'll see what is on the opposite end, where the World Cup isn't big in the United States, but everywhere else, it's such a huge event that they'll televise the World Cup games in the middle of city squares. Whereas, do you really think you're going to see a U.S. match in the middle of Times Square?
I would watch it, though. I'm going to watch it.
Oh, I'm not going to miss a match. I love soccer, especially international. But you won't see it in the middle of Times Square.
Look, point is, WrestleMania is a big event. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care how you view it. You go ahead and let me know how wrestling's not legit, and tell me how it's...
Whoa. Don't use the word legit, because people are going to think you think it's real. And that starts
it's still real to me.
What do you think, wrestling's real?
It's still real to me. I'm just kidding. Just fucking with you. Seriously, though. Dude, 70,000 plus go to this fucking event. Cities bring in millions of dollars to that damn event. You can't sit here and tell me that it doesn't sell. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like go kill yourself. You don't really go kill yourself, but go fucking kill yourself. Wrestling is legit. If you don't like it, that's cool.
You're not really helping our cause right now by telling people to kill this.
Well, look, at the beginning of the video, it says this is explicit content. If you don't like it, then oh well. It's too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, you got me there.
All right, but point is,
Greg's right. Go kill yourself.
No one take it seriously. Like, don't really go kill yourself now.
Yeah,
no. If you do, it's not our fault, though.
Disclaimer.
Just blame the black guy. Blame the only black guy here.
The last thing I'm going to say is the last few people that have come up to me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a wrestling fan. There's this long pause, maybe 5 seconds.
Every time, dude.
They look at me, wait, tell me if you've experienced it. Maybe 5 seconds silence, and then they go real slow. You know it's fake.
Every girl I've met.
No, I didn't. You just shattered my world. Don't tell me anything about Santa, otherwise I don't know if I can live with myself.
I'm telling you, dude. Shit like that, and it's every time, every girl, dude. There's like maybe even one or two where they're like, yeah, I watch wrestling too, and then that right there, I'm just like fucking hooked.
You get down on one knee and right off the bat, like, pull a little quarter out of a machine and be like...
That's it. Look, I got the ring pop here. Let's do this. I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, yeah. I mean, it's the same reaction, dude. It's always that fucking pause, and then you know it's coming. You're like, son of a bitch. I shouldn't have said it.
I never bring it up. Never bring it up. I just
yeah.
It's like a closet.
No, but true story though. True story. For whatever reason, so this one girl who I'm cool with, I showed her wrestling one night, right? She came over to my place, we were chilling. She watched wrestling. She was like,
chilling,
okay,
huh? Is that what you guys call it these days?
It was chilling, all right? I'm not... Anyways, like, to the point of the story, we were watching wrestling. She's like, okay, I don't know how you watch this, right? I'm like, well, fuck, I've already accepted that you don't understand it. But, looking at the situation, though, when it came to MMA, pretty much go ahead and transition it. She loved it. What the fuck? Pretty much almost same concept in my opinion. But
we're not even gonna get into that whole.
Yeah, okay, one's real. It's built off the same basis. It's the same thing.
We are not even gonna enter into the MMA versus professional wrestling.
New topic before we get the internet marks mad.
Yeah.
New topic. All right. So I mean, where do we take this next? Des, where do we take this next?
Well, let's see what kind of topics are going on in the world. I mean, the only thing I can think of that the royal baby watch, but who wants to talk about that?
I don't
who
even.
Wants to talk about that?
Who really?
Yeah.
Who really cares?
Who gives a? I mean, I have a friend who's from the UK, and he's like, no one really gives a fuck, you know, even over here. Like, it's just
if they don't give a fuck, then they don't get any time on our podcast.
Okay.
Like, you know what? Can we all say, just let me count down 3 and just say we don't give a fuck, so everybody can understand how irrelevant that like, what does it matter? A royal baby? What the hell is a royal baby? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It's not like the baby's gonna be like handing out new law right off the bat. Let's calm down, folks.
I'm gonna have a kid and I'm gonna call it the King of America, and let's see how much reaction I get.
Nobody will listen to you.
Nobody will listen. Well, fuck. Well, I mean, obviously they got the right idea. Obviously, fucking media, mainstream shit. Speaking of media,
oh no,
and speaking of mainstream,
okay. This was unavoidable because we did miss a week.
We had to miss
our podcast.
We have to confront this. This is the one thing that's been knocking at our door for the past 2 weeks, saying, "Please talk on this." The Zimmerman case.
I feel like there should be dramatic music inserted right here.
Now let me explain this. For those of you who don't know, I am African American. I am African American.
No way! I would have never known.
No way!
Like,
Spoiler.
Yep.
Spoiler alert. No. Look, I'm black.
We were saving that for season 2, goddammit.
We were going to save that for season 2, but obviously, you know, we have to go ahead and do it now. But hey, look, I'm black. I'm African American. Fuck Trayvon Martin. And I say this.
Whoa.
I say because, and I say this only because of this. When you really look at this situation, the only reason, and I'm not going to think a logic here. I'm going to be honest. What is the reason for this kid getting all the hype? All of you people who are getting mad, and I'm not saying people by my people, I'm just saying people in general. Everybody who's
what do you
getting
mean,
mad.
you people, Murr?
I just want to be clear.
Right? You people.
Because they get mad at this case, and they hold this kid as if he's something relevant to their life. People die every day. There are individuals who are risking their life for this country who have died. Mm-hmm. You know, and they're doing, you know, what they can to protect this country, to save us from whatever else could possibly happen that's similar to 9/11. This kid's background was shady. My friend Drew informed me, Greg, look up this kid's background, and then you tell me your opinion, because I didn't follow it. I don't care.
No, there was definitely a lot of
dude.
questionable.
A crap load of it, and I don't follow the media. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a big fan of the media. I'm not, because I don't trust everything that they put out there.
They're selective. That's
NBC,
the problem.
Yeah. Good example. NBC, they edited the police tapes, so the police calling of Zimmerman. I don't know if you guys heard of that. No? Did you guys hear that?
No,
I didn't hear that.
I didn't follow anything, but those are really...
what they did was they edit the tape of him calling the police, where they edited, like, they took out the part where the police dispatcher asked if he's black, white, or Hispanic, and they cut that out, so they made it seem like Zimmerman was racist. Oh, he's black, you know? And
but see,
big
God,
old
it's just so
going on with that.
It's all to get the public to give in.
Every network, no matter which network it is, has some form of bias.
Thank you.
Fox obviously had the conservative approach, you know, the real kind of hardline defense of Zimmerman. Meanwhile, MSNBC, it felt like a tribute to Trayvon Martin show, and I've heard that said a lot. I've heard that on the radio, and if you watch their coverage, it really was, because they had the sad, like, violin music before they'd go to commercials, and they'd bring up a picture of him and have, like, the years of his life.
It's all for ratings.
Like, this is a trial.
It is, dude. It's not even. It's the same thing. When they had the Casey Anthony thing, that chick who killed her boyfriend, I don't even know the name, whatever the case may be for that. It's the same thing. They build these trials up. But the thing about the Zimmerman case is this. The guy, I mean, the story honestly could have went both ways. The only difference between how it went is Trayvon Martin was not here to tell his side. And whatever happened, whatever the case may be, you cannot judge a case off of emotion.
Don't get me wrong. It's tragic that he died. It's, you know.
Absolutely.
It is.
None of us are like, oh, good, he's dead.
Right. You know,
it's not like that.
It's not about one thing that really does seem. It's not. It wasn't any way racially motivated. You know, if you look at Zimmerman's case,
all along,
Zimmerman set up a fund or some kind of fund for a homeless black guy who was beaten by a police.
That.
And
that's media. That's media. That's them putting it out.
But don't even go into the background.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
that was needed for this case to be covered properly was looking at it legally. Leave the race out of it. Doesn't matter what race the victim was or the killer.
Leave
Look at it.
Out of it.
What could the prosecution prove, and what did the defense bring?
That's true.
And the prosecution didn't really have a case. It never should have been brought. And honestly, and this is not from media, this is my opinion, nothing else, that case was brought because of public pressure only.
That's all it was.
No prosecutor in their right mind should have been willing to bring that with the complete lack of real evidence.
That's what I'm saying. They focused the case around what the media made it. Oh, he was black. It was a race thing as far as that goes. Was he a racist, etc. They focused the case. If they would have actually done legitimate research and actually brought a sound and logic, more of a direct argument to why this man should be sentenced to prison or death penalty, whatever you want to fucking do to him, I mean, that would have been more logic. Dude, it was a reasonable outcome. You can, whether you like.
And I think you guys all agree with me. We're not stating whether or not the legal system works or is broken. We're not getting involved in that whole debate about what needs to change and everything like that. We're looking at it as this is the system right now. For better or worse, the right verdict was reached based on the current system.
Deal with it.
Based on reasonable doubt.
Deal with it. There's been worse.
I felt watching the trial that the roles were reversed. I felt like the prosecution was just trying to raise doubt, and I'm like, that's not your job. You got to prove your case. The defense just has to bring doubt.
Whatever the case may be, man. Look, point is, it's over.
Yep.
It was a reasonable case. It was a reasonable case. They looked at evidence based on what was realistic. They did not go off of emotions. You cannot be mad at those individuals who chose his decision there as far as being not guilty for looking at things in a reasonable manner.
What about how you feel about the death threats though coming out? He's getting 400 death threats per minute or something like that. I don't know.
I feel bad for the guy because whether
it's the same thing for Casey Anthony. Casey Anthony though, that bitch did that shit. I don't care.
Oh
what
yeah,
you say.
I mean like did it.
But you know what though? It died out. If anybody saw her in the streets now, they wouldn't remember who she was. You want to know why? Because the focus is all on Zimmerman now. Like honestly, if Casey Anthony,
it'll be exactly like that until guess what? There's going to be another media.
There's going to be another
trial.
The next one comes. So how do you guys feel on the news recently today? It wasn't, I guess, some kind of thing going on that Zimmerman went out and rescued a family out of a rolled over car, SUV or something?
Yeah, I read that. It was him and another bystander went over to this car that had flipped and pulled out a married couple and their 2 kids. He hung around, talked to cops, and then left. So it seems to me he wasn't trying to take any headlines. You didn't see him in front of cameras going, yeah, I saved them. He just wants to live his life, and he did the right thing. That's how I look at it. Just not even a huge story.
Right.
I honestly, I have no comment on that because once more, I think that's just for the build. But that's just my opinion. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's not a huge story.
Who would build that, Greg? Who would build it, honestly? Who would build that?
It's to add on to the media itself. The case is still out there. So a week later this happens or a week after the decision this happens, come on now. But
have you noticed that there wasn't much media coverage on it at all?
I didn't notice any because I didn't pay attention to look into it.
Okay, so
hey Greg,
that's why my opinion's irrelevant in this because I didn't watch it. I don't care about that part. I'm just saying
Greg,
this guy's case was reasonable.
From the grassy knoll.
Right.
Fuck, it could have been, dude. It could have been. That's sneaky.
What about the book depository?
Oh my God! All right, so next topic, off of the Zimmerman bullshit. I mean, that's done. Wait for the next case. Now, Des, this is about the time of the podcast where you come in and you go ahead and you give us the direction we need to go ahead and provide entertainment. So I'm going to go ahead and let the people know what's about to happen here.
Ladies, okay, I'm not going to even do that. So,
ladies and gentlemen.
So today we're going to do our version of buy or sell, okay? I'm going to give you guys a topic or a question, and you have about a minute each. Let's keep it about 30 seconds a minute each to tell me how you feel about it, buy or sell. Do you believe it's true or do you not believe it's true, okay?
Okay.
Will Alex Rodriguez play for the Yankees this year? Kills. Brian.
I sell it because as a Yankees fan, I'm located in the New York market. I know that they don't want him back. I know baseball is on the verge of getting rid of him. Today, Ryan Braun suspended for the rest of the season over 60 games, and he cut a deal because baseball came to him and said, here's what we have on you. And it was clearly enough that he didn't even appeal his suspension. He's like, let's just get this over with. And they have more on A-Rod than they had on him. They're looking for a lifetime ban for him. So I'm going to actually sell your statement, and I'm going to buy that A-Rod will not play another game in Major League Baseball.
So you think he's done completely? Not just
I believe, because whether or not he's banned for life, I think if that's what he's confronted with, he'll retire.
Right.
He'll retire before that happens so he can at least get some of his money.
All right. Greg, how do you feel about that?
Well, I agree with Brian.
Why don't you just give the rest of your time to me?
Baseball and me don't exactly level out. I mean, I know the whole A-Rod thing. I know the situation, but I mean, for me to sit here and give, that's just it. I agree with Brian.
All right,
Next topic.
I respect that not everybody's a baseball fan.
Right.
To be honest, if there was ever a time to not be a baseball fan, it's now.
Next
It's
question.
the constant stuff.
Okay.
Brian's not going to like this one.
Oh, God.
Oh, shit.
All right. And it's NBA related.
Oh. Let's
Oh,
go.
no. Don't
Let's
do
go.
this.
Buy or
Let's go.
sell? Is Dwight Howard going to have a dominant year this year coming up?
Oh, my God.
Can we keep him off our podcast forever?
You know, I know it's a rule. I know it's a rule.
You know what?
But
Let me go first. Let me
After
go
you,
first.
because I'm disgusted right now.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and say bye because Dwight Howard still has potential. A lot of people forget about that. Because when you think about it, look at what he did for Orlando prior to when he went on that whole bitch fit riot. He was solid. He got them to the playoffs. He made it pretty far in the playoffs. I mean, he was a key player. He used to be a key role player. I feel he can still do that again. He's still young enough to be able to do so, but that's only if he has the right state of mind. Dwight Howard's main problem is his mindset. He's not going to get anywhere if he stays the way that he has been these past couple of years because he's a little baby. He's a little bitch. Like, dude, seriously, why are you complaining about the teams you play for? Better yet, why are you complaining about play time and how many points you score? Isn't it supposed to be a team effort? You look at guys like Tim Duncan. Look at him. That's a prime example. That is a team player, and he still gets his points. Like, come on, dude. Stop complaining. Get back to what you once were. Go back to the fundamentals, and I'll buy that.
Well, this might be the only time you hear me actually willing to talk about him. I'm going to address something you said. He still has potential. How many times have we heard Hall of Famers in multiple sports say there comes a certain point where potential isn't good enough?
Ooh.
You've got to actually live up to that potential. And you can't go until you're 35. Oh, he's got potential. You're 35. It's too late. That's not Dwight Howard. You know, he's still young. But I feel he's already beyond his good years.
Okay.
So I'm kind of torn here because you didn't define a dominant year, Des.
Okay.
Is dominant, averaging a double-double? Is dominant getting to an all-star game? Is dominant winning a champ? What is dominant this year?
Dominant being posting up 25 and 10 regularly. That seems,
Regularly.
Right.
Right. Oh, that's far-fetched.
I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell because he's going to still be in the tough Western Conference. The Rockets are going to be a damn good team, but I don't see them winning a championship. I see him putting up decent numbers, better than he did in L.A., because, hell, they couldn't get any worse. And I think it'll be interesting.
All right,
but I think his injury history.
2 more questions, and these are now NFL related. Okay.
Oh boy. Okay.
Wearing my Cowboys jersey.
Okay.
Let me get my Let me get my Redskins. Let me get my RG3 stuff out of the closet.
Careful, don't hurt your knee doing so.
Fuck you. Oh yeah. FYI, everybody watching this podcast right now, RG3 has been cleared to go back to practice, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully,
and this
he'll be
just
back
in,
the
he
field.
stepped on the practice field and retore his knee because Mike Shanahan pushed him over a bench.
Okay, so if you haven't been able to tell right now, Brian's a Cowboys fan and I'm a Redskins fan, obviously. So we're going to bump heads here for these next few months, especially when it comes August. But you know what? We're going to see how bad Romo messes up, and let's see.
Okay. Ask the questions.
All right, we're getting a little off topic now. Okay, Brian, Merck, buy or sell. Is Alex Hernandez guilty or not guilty?
Oh, dude.
Aaron Hernandez?
Yeah, Aaron. Yeah.
Aaron Hernandez is guiltier than OJ. That's how guilty he is.
That's how bad it is.
I have never seen someone try to cover up a crime worse than him.
You can put OJ and Casey Anthony's case together, and he would still be more guilty than both of them.
Like if you asked OJ what he thought, he'd just start laughing and would say, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, he did it.
He did that shit." That's exactly what's gonna happen. You remember that Dave Chappelle skit where he was sitting in the courtroom and he's like, "Oh yeah, OJ did that shit." That's exactly what it's gonna be.
And the reason is, look, he hired a cleaning crew. He destroyed his own cell phone. He erased his.
And they're wondering why his phone's all fucked up now.
I mean, they don't even need to find the murder weapon to get him convicted. That's how guilty he is.
Okay, so let me go on the topic with this then, because we're obviously all gonna say that we're gonna sell that shit, obviously, but how shocked would either of you be if he walks? Will it really be a surprise if he walks?
Oh, I'd be shocked. I would be as shocked as Casey Anthony.
They just had a guy, one of his friends, come out that he confessed to him that he committed the murder.
Yeah, they found the guy that he confessed to, so they have the testimony of the guy who spoke to the guy he confessed to, and now they're trying to get him in.
Now that's evidence, people. Letting you guys know. That's evidence.
I tell you what,
and it's not circumstantial evidence.
It's evidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? If he walks, man, that's when you can honestly say that the system's broken.
They found an off-the-books apartment he had where he was wearing the same outfit that was on camera that night.
He left it there and it was blood on it, right?
Yep. So he is busted.
Okay. Talking about the Patriots. Tebow, breakout year? Yes or no?
Interesting theory about Tebow. I think with all the tight end problems they're having, I think he's going to make the roster. A lot of people were like, I don't know if he'll make it on the roster going into camp. He'll make the roster. Belichick will use him as a situational tight end, which is not completely unheard of with Bill Belichick. Tebow will have, some contributions, and as a result, they'll keep him around training under Tom Brady. So do I think he'll have a breakout year? No, I don't. But I think he'll learn under Tom Brady in his time there, and down the road, I think he could have a career as a quarterback.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Hey! Shut the fuck up!
Right, you really shouldn't talk to your family like that.
Come here, calm down. You're not even barking at anything. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, proceed.
Nope, it's all you now.
Yep.
Oh, it's on me now? Okay.
Yeah, by yourself.
Better be quiet, Duke. All right, so pretty much what it comes down to with Tim Tebow is the man, he's had potential. And Brian is not a fan of potential, obviously. Potential is obviously not enough, as we see. In this case scenario, potential is not enough. Because he had a good season with the Broncos. I mean, it's just kind of like, it all depends. It all depends on how the stars align for Tim Tebow. It's a possibility he could. I'm not saying that he can't, but it all depends on if he's given the opportunity to. Let me put it like that.
The opportunity will come after studying under Brady. I'm not saying he's going to replace Brady or be like when Tom Brady's gone, he takes over.
Yeah.
I think he'll end up going to another team that's like, hey, he was under Belichick.
Yeah.
By the way, the most underrated part of this story that people forget, who's the quarterback's coach of New England Patriots? Josh McDaniels, who drafted Tim Tebow in Denver and was going to work with him in the first place.
Oh.
Who got fired after one season.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So I think this was a perfect situation for Tim Tebow.
Agreed, and we'll see how it goes in due time. But that'll be another story that we can speak on when the season comes, and we'll be a little bit more into it. I'd say about week 5 or 6. We'll see how he does.
Right.
So, we'll take it from there. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, the time is running. The clock is ticking.
It is time.
It is time
to let go.
It is time. It's time to let go. It's time to let go of George Zimmerman. It's time to let go of that.
On.
Time to move on. Dwight Howard.
Finally.
Time to move on. People who don't like wrestling, it's time to move on. All right,
Time to move on.
we get it. It's fake.
Hallelujah.
You know,
Get it? Don't like us.